Hey guys, it's Shadow the Rat, and for today's training video, I will be training with little Olive. So Olive is now officially 8 weeks old. She's trying to do the backup trick, which is actually something I want to work on. But anyways, like I said, she's 8 weeks old, and she is doing amazing with trick training. So is her sister. And for today, I want to work on two things. First of all, I want to start working on fetch, and I've already chosen an item for Olive because she has shown that she likes to pick up paper. So I'm going to see if she will, humor me with some paper balls if we start training fetch with them. And I'm going to be training tunnel fetch first because I find it's easier than fetch, and at the same time it's just a cute little trick in its own right. So that is what we'll be working on. And other than that, I also want to work some on backup, which is exactly what you see right now. And with backup, the goal is for them to be backing under my hand. So you'll see that I have my hand here, and when she backs under it, then I go ahead and I bring forward the treat. So I've talked about in prior videos how you can get started training that. And so if you want to check that out, feel free to do so. But anyways, right now I am just trying to extend her range for backing up a little bit. And my goal for backup this time is actually to start getting her to back up onto a book, because later on I will be teaching her to do a wall handstand, back up onto the wall. And for that, she needs to first learn to back up onto a book. So this can be a little bit difficult for them because you can see they initially want to skirt around the book. And so when you start, you kind of want them on the book and then having them back up while they're on the book. This just kind of starts to teach them you do want them to actually go on it instead of back around it, which does take a little bit of trust on their part because, well, they're backing up onto something that they can't see. But they do tend to get the idea pretty quickly. And I'll also use my hand to kind of guide them. That's where having this whole finger straddle target really helps. But yeah, I just have them back up over and over onto the book, and with time, they will get better at backing up onto the book. They won't need any sort of help. So right now, I'm kind of guiding her onto it because I want the book to be her new goal. I will just have her do it a few more times, and that will be it for today for backup because I really don't want to work backup too much. So I'm going to switch over to, like I said, I wanted to work some on tunnel fetch. And for that, the item I've chosen to have her start with is just a crinkled ball. So you can see she's already interested in the crinkled ball. She tried to bite it right there, and that's a great sign. You don't want them to be stashing the item you start with, but if they want to bite it, that's always a good thing because, well, then you don't have to train that. So right now, she's already really good at picking stuff up. So she's already figured out that when I put something in front of her, clearly I want her to do something with it, and I've already rewarded her for biting it. So she is showing really good. So I'm going to get started by using this hoop here. And one thing with rats you find is that they have this sort of opposition reflex when it comes to, I want to say, tunnels. So if you put something in a tunnel that they already like to pick up, then they will back up with it. So you can see, like that. So they kind of just naturally take things out of tunnels. I'm not really sure why, but they just do. So if you put something in a tunnel like this, they will just do exactly what you see Olive doing here. And of course they need to already know how to pick up the item, so if they don't know how to pick it up, this won't be too helpful. But if they do know how to pick it up, this is a great way to start getting them to move with the object, and it's just a really fun way to work on fetch, or especially tunnel fetch. And on top of this, you also know that she has worked some on backup, so she's pretty good at that, so she's not having too much difficulty figuring out what I want. And so now all I have to do is slowly move the hoop further and further away until she is finding it a little bit difficult to back up with it. And eventually she should start turning around with it, although that does depend on the rat. Like I said, I'm going to be working on tunnel fetch, so this isn't really a fetch yet, and it won't be a fetch, but it will be just a version of tunnel fetch, so she learns to move around with the object in her mouth. So you can see once it gets a little too far, that's when it gets more difficult for them because they don't know exactly what to do. Like, how do I keep backing up? I can't find the tunnel. And sometimes they'll turn around with it. This is actually how I taught my rat Espresso how to fetch because she was having some difficulty with other methods. So I basically used this to get her to start turning around with the object, kind of like that. And then I just shaped that into a full fetch. But that did take a little bit longer than usual. But overall, it was still a really useful process. So the next thing I want to do is I actually want to switch this out for a tube. You see here I have a tube, and I just need to put some weights on the side so it won't just slide out under her. So now we start with it in the beginning, right there, and we put it a little bit more And I didn't start with the tube because she's more used to the little hoop. And on top of that, I find that rats just find it a little bit intimidating if you start with the tube, even if they're used to going through it. So I like to start with the tunnel instead. So then you just start to toss it further and further inside. And again, continue to reward as they bring it outside. There you go. And I wasn't using my clicker because I was talking, but this is a trick you can use the clicker with. And the nice thing about these tubes is you can actually extend them, although it can be a little freaky to the rats when they haven't heard it much before. Come here, little Olive. But there you go. And it can be kind of hard to get the thing to go down far enough because it's not really angled. So I'm just going to toss it in there. Ready? Go get it. Good job. Go get it. Good job. Okay, so I think that is enough work today. She's doing really well on the tunnel fetch. She's doing really well on backup. So we're just going to continue working on those. And right now I'm just going to ask her for a quick spin. Spin? Oh, good job. Okay, so yeah, that is pretty much, oops. That's pretty much all I wanted to show you guys today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!